The Endless Journey of a Fish. I'm a fish, and I'm telling my story, which began more than 150 million years ago in the depth of the oceans. Restless, almost impetuous, I was driven through the mysterious darkness of the deep sea with its ever-flashing lights. Colorful corals rippled like feathers to the light in the waters of the ocean. It was like magic. I loved being among the splendor of shapes and colors, but had to sweep widely through to avoid the coral's ravenous appetite. Again and again I was drawn back to the middle of my big fish family, which protected my body from greedy predators. After a long, wonderful journey through the vastness of the seemingly endless sea, I suddenly felt an inner heaviness that made me slide down to the bottom of the ocean, where I sank into deep dreams of immeasurable beauty that must have sprung from a divine power. With me, many of my swarm friends sank into the depth, for they too seemed to have been overcome by a great weariness. In my trance, I still felt their gentle touch as they slid over my body. Little by little, our bodies merged into another, a new matter. Our life circle seemed to end. Many millions of years passed, and the cycle of life produced countless generations of our shoal. The year was 1960, when the inconceivable happened. A tremor on the ocean floor tore me out of my deep dreams. A powerful maelstrom pulled me through a seemingly endless tube to the surface of the sea. Still dazed, I could not gauge the reality slowly building around me. It was terribly noisy, and the thick, horribly smelly mass I was trapped in was blurring the traces of the past that reminded me of the beauty of the ocean. Now I was a tiny nothing in a huge basin filled with vicious liquid that humans called crude oil. The journey was not yet at an end. My gasping moans faded miserably in the roar of the machinery. The oily mass began to rotate, and other liquids were added to it. I fainted. When I came to, I saw humans wandering randomly around shelves and fruit stands. Suddenly, someone rudely yanked me off a roll. Slowly, I realized that I had been transformed into a manufactured form of being. I was a t-shirt bag, made of man-made substances, milky, transparent, and nondescript. Filled with sweet fruits that guilelessly strained my skin, I was taken to a place unknown to me. There they removed my load, after which my new body landed crumpled up in a garbage can. I feared the narrowness and the darkness in which an acrid smell spread, but worse was to come. Crushed and pressed in a large truck, I ended up in a huge field where pungent smells spread, rising by the hundreds formed as clouds of steam. I longed for release. It was probably thanks to the lightness of my then new matter that a gust of wind caught me and made me rise into the air, far away from the gruesome field. I felt free, as once in the vastness of the ocean. It was my home, the ocean, which I could now look at from far above. How mighty and large it was. The updraught subsided. I sank gently onto the waves of the sea and dived down into infinity. I had made it, but nothing was as I knew it. Plants which I had never seen before swam in gigantic formations at the surface of the sea and drank down to the deep. The water was warm and murky. The magnificent corals of yesteryear lay rigid under a grey blanket of lime and plastic. Where were all my beloved shapes and colors? The descendants of my family seemed unaware of me. One broke away from the shoal and approached me aggressively with its mouth open. I still feel the pain as its sharp teeth seized me and I was pulled into its deep, dark interior. Acidic substances attacked me, but my skin was so strong that it resisted the decomposition of my matter. It took no life, and we both landed on a silver platter. My fellow species was eaten, and I will probably need still many years until my polymorph body, microscopically small, will go on its final journey.